Hey, it's Biddy Penny, and this video is an extended version, if you will, of the 7K hop for tailor-made cards for you. That was a list of the sponsors. This video is not a part of the hop, but there's a shorter version that is, and I encourage y'all to hop along. I just wanted to come on and do a slower version so I could really talk more about the process, because I think these cards deserve that. So I am thumbing through here 3 different kits. These are the passport kits. Monica has a number of them in her shop. I just got my 3 favorites, but there's so many to choose from. And this design and this idea is really all hers. And I just love it when she makes these, and I kind of just made it my own with a few twists. So I cut apart all of my ephemera, which is what I have here, and I have it in the different piles. And then I have my background papers still uncut. I'm going to put all of my ephemera in my little mushroom boxes because that's how I stay organized, and put those over to the side. Okay, I'm using a 5x7 card base, and I am going to make my card base my 2 largest flaps for this passport style card. Now this first one, you can cut it like this. Okay, so basically I decided to cut an inch off of each end here. So the centerpiece then is going to end up being like 5 inches by 4 1/4 when I'm done. I'm just snipping off these. You don't need those 2 pieces. If you do it like this, the adjustment that I would suggest is the 3rd piece, which I'm going to make here with the background paper, that it would be down at the bottom so that you have 2 pieces of paper that are folded. Therefore, your card will stand up. I was trying to tell y'all that in the shorter version, but I couldn't get it out. So you would want to keep it down low like this, and that way your card would still stand up. That's what I was trying to tell y'all. I mean, you can do it any way you want. I'm still really happy with the card that I made. It just doesn't, you have to prop it up, right? It does not freestanding. Okay, so I kept the border that was printed on that paper as my fold over for this. So this 3rd smaller piece is going to be the 3rd flap in this card. So this card essentially has 3 flaps to it. I think Monica has a different way of making the books, which I definitely encourage you to go check out. I just kind of was looking at hers and decided to go this way. Now this is much easier. I just cut 2 inches off the top part of that card and then cut it down to 4 1/4, and now this card stands up perfectly fine. So this would be the best way to do the card base in my opinion, but you do whatever you want. Okay, I just got an idea. I think we're gonna have to make these again, but do them horizontally. There's an idea. Okay, so now I've got 3 card bases kind of ready to go. And I am going to separate. I'm going to take this one with the brick, and the first one I'm going to make is the only card that I'm going to make all the way through with you guys, even in this video, which is the New York card. Then I'll show you pieces of my Italy card, and I'll flip through the journal for you at the end, because honestly I just didn't record that footage. I knew it was a part of a hop and I wouldn't need that much footage. So if you guys want me to go back and record how I made the journal in a process video, you just need to request it in the comments down below. If I have enough people interested, I'll make that video for you guys, because I would love to make another one. Okay, so now I'm just trimming my paper here to cover this flap. And I want to do it with this New York piece. I am going to glue it, but only like in the very center here because I want to stitch around it and I don't want glue in my sewing machine. So that's why I only put glue just in the middle to tack it down in place and hold it there while I stitch around. But before I stitch, I wanted to ink blend, and I'm still just kind of eyeballing things here. I'm deciding about this flap. I did decide to cut the connection point on this. You'll see. So what I did is I flipped this over. I used my pencil and marked where that flap was. Then I trimmed the excess off here. So I just kind of lined everything up. I didn't want New York covered at the top with the brick. And I had to cut off a little bit of that and not glue that part down, or else nothing would have opened. So that was another thing I really missed telling y'all in the shorter version. I need a 20-minute video to explain everything sometimes. Okay, I am ink blending everything. I ink blended the flaps, all sides, just everywhere. And before I glue this part down, then I want to stitch. So I'm just still eyeballing everything. This was the first one I made, so gotta make sure this is looking right. I did go ahead and glue this piece down. And then I took this to my sewing machine and I stitched around. Of course, I left my threads long. That's just what I do. And then now I can glue this piece on. And I'm going to be careful. I'm going to line it up just right. And then I'm going to bring in a couple of paper clips just to hold it in place while that glue dries. And while that glue dries, I decided to use a safety pin and cover this top part. I just thought it would add a lot of interest, or a little interest. I used a swatch of upholstery fabric and am gluing or pinning this in place. And I went through the paper and all. You could just go through the fabric and like glue it on, but I actually wanted it to be attached. All right, so that part now is done. And this is where I had my NYC paper clips, but they didn't work out. So now I need to go in and fill this up. All right, so I really like this design with the pockets and the ephemera. And what's so cool is if you make journals too, you could use all of this ephemera in your regular journals, in addition to making these really cute cards. Again, Monica has so many different designs. Now, when I purchased these, they were on sale. Bonus. So that was a nice surprise. But yeah, she has so many different themes, so I'm sure you'll find one that you like. Just go over to Tailor Made Cards for You and you'll find it. I'll leave it linked below. And it's in her digital kits. And what's great about that is if you can just print to your heart's delight and use the ephemera in different projects on cards. Like, even if you didn't make the passport style card, but you made regular cards, then you could still use this ephemera for those as well. I always like to print my digitals on cardstock. So I use like an 80-pound Nina cardstock for printing, and also I like to print on 20-pound copy paper because I find that I use the two different weights for different things. And so it's nice to have that option. So actually, whenever I print a kit, I print it twice. I print it once on cardstock and once on 20-pound paper. All right, so y'all saw how I made that first pocket very simply. And now I'm going in and I am collaging the back. This is the point where I discovered this is not going to work. Those just don't line up, which is okay. I could have gone back through my box. Okay, so I will fiddle with this for about 3 more seconds before I just completely abort mission. Done. Okay, just collage it, Bitty Penny. Just collage it. All right, I tear a little there. And I love the way it turned out. Some other ideas that I had, which I showed in the video, is using like photo corners. I have a photo corner punch from We Are Memory Keepers that I really like. I've been keeping it on my desk along with 4.3 million other things. So it's right there in front of me and I'm using it more often now. All right, this is really fun. I just kind of came up with this and I love it. It's 2 pieces of ephemera, but I'm gluing them so they make one unified pocket. And I just really like the way this came together. I've never thought of doing that before, but I will hopefully remember it in the future. And I had to put the suitcase on there because I just love it so much. I love the colors of it. All right, now I have this paper pad. It's from the Dollar Tree, and I really like this one because I liked the colors of the paper. I thought it was really lovely. So I'm just going to tuck one into that spot, and then this other one, I'm going to trim it down because it wasn't going to quite fit in that pocket. So I trim it to the size that I know that I want, and then I end up crinkling it up. Yep. It always looks older when it's been crunched in your hand. And then I ended up harvesting this really cool stamp from my mail. I've been keeping my envelopes, of course, and telling myself, hey, go through and cut all those stamps off for projects, like junk journal projects or whatever. And I finally remembered it. And I remembered that this hip hop stamp was on one of our Christmas cards. And I was like, ooh, that one's so cool. So I kind of put it at the top of the stack. And I love that, it's something kind of current, but I made it look aged. And hip hop was born in New York, and this card's all about New York. So I know the recipient is going to like that as well. So now that just gives a place to write birthday messages or whatever for this card. It's kind of fun. This hop was all about celebrating and celebrations, and so I made a card for a birthday and an anniversary and a journal. Here I am using some of my alcohol inked colored tape to put those 2 pockets or it's 1 pocket, but the 2 pieces of ephemera together. And then I showed you guys this. So this is the background paper as it prints. And this is an example of where I'm using the 20-pound paper instead of the cardstock, because I'm just gluing it over the edge and I'm making a background page for this flap. So I really didn't need a hefty weight paper for this part. And I love thin washi tape, you guys. I find it to be the most useful to me out of all the washi tape sizes. The smaller one, it's like a 1/2 or 1/4 inch. It's my favorite. So I brought some of that in just to fill in the gap on each side. You could have, of course, trimmed down this insert so that it didn't need the washi tape, but I like it. It's a gold metallic. I like what it added to the project. So it's all good. So this is my Italy card. And now I'm putting this piece on. Now this piece, I could raise it up higher because that middle piece is cut so that this card will stand up properly. So then if you cut your card like this, where you cut off the 2 inches at the top, leaving the bottom flush then you can add the top layer, the smallest piece, anywhere you want. And here I just played around. I brought in a piece of scrap paper from my stash and my punch. I love this punch. I have one more, I just couldn't find it, from Stampin' Up. It's old and retired, but such a great punch for leaves, quick leaves. And I just put those around. It's funny, I'm making this one as an anniversary card for my hubby, but we didn't go to Venice. We went to Rome, Naples, we went to the Amalfi Coast, so we went down to Sorrento and Pompeii, and then we went up north of Rome, but we never made it to Venice, so I don't know, I'll probably end up covering that part up, honestly, with another piece of ephemera. Maybe that's where I'll put my sentiment, like happy anniversary or something. Or I might go on my computer and type in Sorrento. That's where we got engaged. Something like that. Something like that. But I like this little flap that I made. And then now I'm like, okay, I need to cover the inside. So I brought in this travel note. And here is how everything turned out. I hope you guys appreciate this slower version here. I just really wanted to be able to move at my pace and explain everything to y'all a little bit better in case y'all want to make these, because I love these cards so much. I want to make more of them. Here is the anniversary card for my hubby. So cool. I like this is another sheet from that Dollar Tree paper pad. And on this flap is where I'm going to put our picture of when we were there. So young, 16 years ago. And another piece of paper to record memories. This is where I put the photo corners. And then I made this journal. So this is the one that if you guys want to see how I made this, it happens so quickly. Like, I definitely want to make more of these and use all different kinds of paper. But I had so much fun with this. This right here was a pocket, the envelope, and then this is another envelope. So the green one with the leaves was an envelope that came in the kit, and so did this other one. And then, yeah, all this is from the same kit. I added in more of that Dollar Tree paper. And those are like stapled together and glued down, so it's very sturdy. It's not a big fat journal, but it's enough for some occasions and some thoughts. Thanks you guys for watching me do the same thing over again, but at a slower pace. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.